everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Julia. I'm with Julia Sue Stamping. I'm passionate about stamping, coloring, paper crafts, making cards, and sharing the fun of how to do all of that with you. Today is something that is a little bit different. I am showing some fun tips and techniques for decorating the envelopes in which you send your handmade creations. These techniques and tips are going to just create a little extra magic to your handmade cards that you're sending to that someone special. They're going to add an extra touch of magic, and it's going to make that mail from you truly memorable. So I would like to get started by letting you know I live in Northeast Ohio and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So everything I show is Stampin' Up! Are you ready? Let's get started. So the first technique I'm going to talk about today is going to be creating stamped borders on your envelope. So I have a stamp from the Irresistible Blooms stamp set, and I am going to act like I made a card using the Irresistible Blooms stamp set. And you simply take the envelope and do a pretty border all along the outside of your card, creating a simple envelope border. And then we could take the splatters that are also in there, stamp it off a couple of times. And now, wouldn't that be a beautiful envelope for sending to someone? You can also stamp the flap, and that's a very easy way of doing a decorating of an envelope, to decorate a border all along the flap. So we can even bring it in a little bit, change up where it is, and then all you do is shut the envelope and you continue on that side there in that way. So we can do the splatter, and then we'll open it up again. What a beautiful envelope for sending a card. Okay, so cleaning those off, and I already have ink all over myself here. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off really quickly here. Okay, nice clean stamps now, and move that stamp set and ink pad to the side. So this is just a beautiful, simple step that makes a big difference on your cards when they're sent through the mail. Next up, we have envelope liners, and this technique adds a delightful surprise when the envelope is opened, and it can be coordinated with your card's design. So here is how I created my own envelope liner. You choose your paper. It can be a pattern paper or a cardstock that complements your card design, and you want to make sure that it's thin enough to fold easily but sturdy enough to hold its shape. All right, and I have a copy of this on my blog, which is listed right up here. So if you want to have a copy of this and a PDF to cut out for your own, I have it listed on my blog. Check it out, and you can download it and have your own template if you'd like. So I've created a template using the in the envelope. I measured down across and from here up to where the glue is, and then cut it in so that I have a nice template. And I cut that out already of a patterned piece of cardstock. It's a designer series paper rather. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. And the way I put it into the envelope is I simply decide what side I want up, and I put a little bit of adhesive on the part that's going to go on the tip of the envelope. Put it inside, make sure it's nice and far enough in, and then I simply smooth that and fold over. Use the bone folder to make sure it's nice and tight, and then my envelope is ready. How pretty is that? The added touch of the liner not only looks beautiful, but it gives an extra hint of craftsmanship to your handmade card. So using an embossing folder, you can add texture to your envelope flap. This subtle yet elegant detail can elevate the entire presentation and make it feel extra special. All you do for this one is you put the envelope flap into the embossing folder, and then you feed the embossing folder into your embossing tool, into your machine. And you get an envelope flap that ends up looking like this. Now, how pretty is that? So both sides, of course, are embossed, but it still has the glue, easy enough there for you to go ahead and use. And it has just a beautiful texture and is a small detail that makes a really big impact. The next technique we're going to do is we're going to get into a little bit of heat embossing. So I have the Versamark, and I'm going to take the envelope along with the embossing buddy here, which helps us get our envelope all ready to go. Rub it with the embossing buddy, and that way it only goes where you want it to. I have the birthday cake from the Hooray for Surprises stamp set because I'm going to decorate a birthday card. I put the cake down here, inked up really well, and then using the black embossing powder, get it onto the card, the envelope, and flick off any extra that I've got. There. Nice. All right. And then using the heat tool that I have right here, I'm going to heat up that embossing powder. Oh, that is so fun. Just look at that shine. Heat embossing really makes the design just pop, and it adds a professional look to your envelope. How fun is that going to be for someone to get that as a birthday card? Cool. I love that. And the final technique I'm talking about today are stenciled designs. So using some stencils, you can add some beautiful designs to your envelope. I have a piece of grid paper here, putting my envelope down, and I'm going to put it onto the grid paper so that it's basically centered on there. Using a little bit of Post-it sticky tape, Post-it note tape. I'm going to tape my envelope down so it's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm going to, I want to put it down here, so silly me. I'll put it up where like the address would go. There we go. That's good enough. And then I've got stencils, 5 of them, and they are numbered 1 through 5. Can you see the number on there? Yeah, there you go. There's the number on there. And I'm going to put it kind of off to the side here. And I should do it where the notch is. So the notch shows up every time. So I have a notch right up here. I take a pen. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. And I'm going to take the pen and mark where the notch is. And then all the others I use will show up on that notch. I have a little bit of cherry cobbler I'm going to use with a blending brush. So I just tap it in there. I'm going to make it really light to begin with. So I get rid of a lot of that cherry cobbler color. I'm just going to put it on here real lightly. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take this mask off and take off the tape. Set the mask aside and grab the next mask. Line it up with the notches that I made up there. Tape it down again, and I use a different blending brush with Old Olive this time. So get it in there, get rid of a lot of it because I'm going to make it real light to begin. And stenciling on this color. How fun is this going to be for somebody to get? All right, so that was stencil number 2. Take off that post-it tape, and now I'm going to put on stencil number 3 using the notch. Get it on there. All right, and now I'm back to the red. So I'm going to use a little bit darker, but not an awful lot. Yeah, I have the right side up. I got worried there for a second. There we go. A little bit of a darker color, but not much. Take off the number 3. And now I'm going to grab my number 4. Put that stencil down. And again, now we're on the green, so I want it a little bit darker than that was before. There we go. Now I only have one more to go, and that's going to be a dark red. Take off the tape, and my last stencil, number 5 here. Line it up with my mark I made, and a dark red this time. What a beautiful envelope for sending a card, right? And you could do this to the flap as well, but anybody is going to just love to get this. You use the ink pads and blending brushes or sponges, daubers to create some beautiful patterns that coordinate with your handmade card. Stenciling is just a fun way to get creative with your envelopes designs, and well, the possibilities are endless. As you can see, there are so many different things you can do. There you have it. You have 5 fun and creative ways to decorate an envelope. We've got the stenciling, you've got heat embossing, you've got dry embossing. Couldn't remember what it was called for a second there. Lining the envelope right there, and doing borders with stamps. Some really great techniques. These are going to add creative, fun ways to decorate your envelope and add a really special touch to your handmade cards. They're going to make your mail even more delightful for someone to get. So if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, thank you so much for joining me. Again, be sure you give it a thumbs up, give it a like, comment. I really appreciate your support of my small business. Have a fantastic day. Bye.